Hi guys, Finch here and welcome down to the Quest Golf Academy and the first video in the GolfAlong series. Now this series I'm very excited about. Is planned to be a step-by-step guide that can help you improve your game over the course of a month. Now you're going to be following these videos step by step, and there is a link in the description below to my website where you can download a sheet if you want to keep track of how you're getting along. And the rest of the videos in this first week are all going to be about the fundamentals of the game. So the grip, the posture, those real basic points that you need to get correct if you want your golf to be successful. Now the first thing we're going to be doing is stretching. Now this stretching program you can do every single day if you want to. You can do it before you go out and play, but the more you do this routine, the more flexible you'll become and the better golfer you will be. Obviously, whenever you're undertaking any physical exercise, make sure you're capable of doing it, and if you are unsure, make sure you consult with a doctor or a GP, whoever, to make sure you're capable. Now it's amazing how many golfers do not stretch, and stretching is one of the most important things you can do as far as an exercise point of view is concerned, because the golf swing uses most of the major muscle groups to try and send that ball down the fairway or down to the green. So taking that little bit of extra time to get your body in the right place before you even start swinging is very important. Now we're going to be starting from the top to the bottom, literally working from the head to the toes, and you need to be setting aside a good chunk of time during the day to complete this stretching program. Now I'm only going to be doing these stretches just once or twice just to demonstrate. Now first up is the neck. Now for the neck, all you want to be doing is making sure you have a full range of motion. So the first stretch you want to be doing is just standing up nice and tall, nice straight back, leaning the head first of all to the left or the right, it doesn't really matter, but start off with a side stretch. Now all you want to be doing is literally moving the head down to the side, trying to get your ear pretty much touching the shoulder. You'll feel the stretch down the right hand side for myself, or if you're going left first, down the left hand side, and then as you move over to the opposite side, again, just holding the stretch for about 10 seconds and all at the same time remembering to breathe. That's incredibly important. Make sure your breathing is nice and controlled and relaxed. Once you've done it side to side, go backwards and then go forwards. And then if you finish out with just one rotation one way and then a rotation the other way. Now you need to be completing that a number of different times and then you can move downwards. So from the neck, we're going to move down to the shoulders and the upper back. Now the first stretch we're going to be doing, linking the fingers together, pushing them outwards, and then pushing outwards towards the front, just feeling the stretch in the back, holding that, then moving upwards, pushing upwards, then moving it down, and then pushing forwards again. And then a similar stretch, just in reverse, so linking the fingers, but turning around, well, you're not physically turning around, but turning the hands and the arms around, and then pushing backwards in the same direction. So working on from the shoulders and the upper body, you can keep a similar style for this next stretch, which is going to be going along the obliques. So just getting the hands again out, pushing forwards, then up, and then stretching to the side. You want a quite stable wide base with the feet here as well, but then leaning over to the left, holding it, remembering to breathe, and then up to the top, and then over to the other side again, just remembering to breathe, and then back up to the top. So now we're going to try and get some more rotational stretches in. Obviously with the golf swing, it's a very dynamic movement and there is a lot of rotation. And there's a couple specific ones that we want to be doing. So first of all, just standing as you would at the side of the ball, not in your posture, but just nice and tall, arms out to the side, just bend the knees just a wee bit, trying to keep the hips a little bit restricted, just turning the upper body if we can, try and get as much rotation as you can while keeping the lower half still, holding back to the middle, and then again on the other side. Now the next one, if you can get actually into your golf posture, and all I want you to be doing is put your left arm in front of the body and then the right arm behind, so you're in this type of position here, then moving into a golf posture. And again, trying to complete the same stretch. Lower half, nice and steady, rotating away, then back, and then rotating the other way as well. It's important that you manage to get both rotations in because you don't want an imbalance in either side of the body. So next we're just going to loosen up those hips a little bit more, and this is where you're going to be swinging those hips around like your Elvis. So just standing up nice and tall, hands on your hips, pushing the hips forwards, then just completing a rotation, and then if you can take it back the other direction as well. Just do that a few times so you can feel that the hips, and as you start to move into the lower body, that they are nice and loose. So that's most of the core and the upper body complete, but you do need to make sure that you get the arms stretched out. And if you want to start just with the wrists, you can do some wrist rotations just to make sure they are nice and loose and nice and supple. This is something that a lot of golfers would really benefit from because they do get stiff wrists and they do get quite sore. Once you moved on from a little bit of the wrist rotations, push your arm outwards, put those fingers up, and if you can pull back with the other hand, this is going to start to stretch out the forearms. So hold that, remember to breathe again, then switch around onto the other side just to stretch out those forearm muscles. So we're going to do the back of the arm as well. This is going to work the shoulder and a little bit of the tricep as well, but there are some more tricep stretches we can do. So arm out in front, other arm hooked around the side, and then pulling it, keeping the left arm for me extended, just feeling the stretch along the back of my arm. Again, remembering to breathe, and then the opposite side as well. And then lastly, for the upper body and for the arms, just going to do that another tricep stretch. Very simple. This one might take a little bit more work if you are inflexible in this area, but just bending the arm upwards and then over the top of the head and then pushing it downwards so you can feel the stretch along the back of that arm. Hold that one as well and then switch over, and again, just complete on the other side. So for the lower half, just grab yourself a club. Just going to do a little bit of stretching where you need to maintain your balance. You can do this without a club if you want, but I am not the most balanced individual in many different ways. So first of all, you're going to be standing on one leg. I'm going to be moving here my left leg behind my right. I'm going to be gripping onto the top of my foot and then pulling upwards. Just trying to make sure that I can feel the stretch in the front of my left leg here. I'm going to swap it round. Again, breathing, holding, and just stretching out the front of that leg. Then from the front of the leg, we're going to move on to the back of the leg and the hamstrings. Now, for many people who do not stretch out their hamstrings, this is what puts them off stretching because it can become quite painful. Now, if you wanted to just add a little bit of flex into your knees here to begin with, that's fine. But as you move through these stretches, try and straighten those legs out so you can get more of a stretch on the back of the legs. Super simple. Just get your feet so they're about shoulder width apart, bringing that club out in front, and then just trying to move down nice and slowly, trying to maintain your breathing until you can touch down by the toes. Now, if you can't quite touch the toes, add in that little bit of flex, and then with the next one, just try and get those legs straighter, and then just try and get those legs straighter again. Remember to hold and remembering to breathe. So next thing we're going to be doing is the groin areas. Again, using a club for support here. What you want to be doing is putting your front leg, so my left leg here, out in front. And I want to be putting the club pretty much level with my toe. And I want to make sure that I'm not moving my knee too much past this point. I'm going to stretch my right leg out behind me. And I'm going to be keeping that straight as I then move forwards and I put pressure into my left foot. Now this is a bit of a double stretch, so I'm feeling it on the inside of my right leg, but I'm also feeling this on the inside of my left leg as well. So sinking nice and deep into that stretch, just holding it for a few moments, and then swapping over to the opposite leg. And last but not least, we're going to be focusing on the calves, and then we can do in some ankle rotations as well. Calf stretch, very, very simple. Again, this can be quite painful if you've not done much stretching on the lower half before. All you want to be doing is just adding a little bit of flex into one of the legs, straightening out the front leg here, and I'm just going to slowly raise up my toe until I can feel the stretch along the back of the leg. If you really want to add in that stretch, that little bit more, you can grab your toe and move upwards, but I wouldn't recommend that if you've not stretched your calves out for quite some time. Now, one of the reasons why these stretches are important is so as you get set up to the side of the ball, you can get in the correct posture. Now, actually practicing your posture and making sure that you're doing it correctly just in a mirror or just with a camera can have a massive benefit to your overall technique. Remember, your posture is like the structure that you are building your swing around. And if you can make that strong, if you make it solid, it will make a massive difference to your overall performance. So once you've gone through those stretches, this is a nice simple guide to make sure that you're getting in the correct posture. Now to begin with, you can use a club or you can do this without a club, but I think it's a little bit easier to actually check if you're using a club. So just stand to the side of the ball and try and get yourself, first of all, the correct distance away. Now what you want to be finding is that leading edge sat nice and flush on the ground, and the arms hanging nice and naturally. Now we're going to go through the main posture now, but this is just making sure that you are the correct distance away from the ball, but you can adapt yourself afterwards if you want. So just make sure you're that correct distance. Stand at the side of the ball, nice and upright, so you want your back to be nice and straight, almost like you're standing to attention in a parade. Then what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be separating our feet appropriate to the club you're using. So I've got a 7-iron here, so I'm just going to move them to just about shoulder width apart. Doesn't need to be any wider than that. I'm just going to fan my feet out a little bit as well. Going to stay maintained in that nice straight position. Then what I'm going to do is pop one end of the club just on my nose and the other end on my belt buckle. Now what this allows me to do is get a sensation of keeping my body nice and straight. From there, I'm going to tilt over towards the ball until I can just see the ball out of my eyes here. Then what I'm going to do is pop the club down, and then I'm just going to add in that little bit of knee flex. Now what this allows me to do is maintain a nice straight spine angle position, adding that flex into the knees so my knees just aren't bolt right. And I'm pretty comfortable now and confident that I have that athletic posture to the side of the golf ball. Right guys, so that's a very quick guide to how you can get your posture in the correct position, but bear in mind everyone's body is different. What you will generally find is shorter people, they will stand a little bit more upright, while taller people will have to tilt over a little bit more. And again, it depends what spec your clubs are. So that is just a very rough guide, but that should give you a good indication of how athletic, and just that very quick guide of how you can get set up to the ball in a similar position every time. So that stretching program is something I want you to use at the start of every single one of these videos, but also pre-round and pre-practice session. This may seem a little bit silly if you are just rushing to the course with only 10 minutes to spare, but give yourself the time. Give yourself the ability to be able to go through that program, and it will make a massive difference. So guys, thank you very much for watching the first of this GolfAlong series. Next, we're going to be talking about pre-shot routine, so warming up more of the mental muscles rather than just the physical muscles as well. So make sure that you tick this lesson off your list, and then next time we are going to be moving on to something completely different. Right guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.